Guys, welcome back to another Scrapping Irish video. And what have I on this one for you? Well, I've been asked a lot about how to remove the gold plating from boards, so from RAM sticks and from mobile phone boards and stuff like that. I've been asked what method can people use for doing it, and my preferred method is copper chloride. There's two ways you can do it. You can either do copper chloride or you can do AP. And my preferred way is copper chloride, and the reason I like to use copper chloride is when doing the AP method you have to be very good with your, well, not very good, you just have to be accurate, a bit more accurate with your peroxide. If you use the wrong strength peroxide, too much peroxide in it, it can dissolve your gold, and it just means you have an extra step to go to get the gold back out again. So by doing the copper chloride will not dissolve gold. So that's the reason I use copper chloride as the method that I prefer to do. Again, if you prefer AP, or you're a guy that uses AP altogether, fair play, that's what you want to do. Do it, as I always say, do it the way you want to do it and not the way other people do it. I've been asked what I do, so this is I'm showing what can work. So I'll be putting in some contacts from batteries, which are like these, the contacts that'll be on the batteries. Now again guys, this is for demonstration purposes only. I don't advise taking them contacts off batteries, because if anyone knows, dealing with especially the lithium ion batteries, the ones that contain the lithium, like these ones, it can be very dangerous and can cause a fire and stuff like that. So again, don't advise it. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. Again, I'll be removing the gold from the likes of mobile phone boards. I can use this copper chloride for doing that. Even copper chloride can be used for pins. For low grade pins, I'll use copper chloride on it. Takes longer on the pins. Again, if you don't know what copper chloride is, I will link a link up there to it, but I'll also do it at the end of the video, so don't need to click on it there now. But if you do, come back and watch the remainder of this video then. So yeah, we're going to be working on them boards. I'll be talking mainly, I was going to use this video mainly as for the battery contacts, but then I decided to add more stuff in. So you might see at the start of the video that I'll be saying about the battery contacts, but then you will see that I'll be adding in mobile phone boards, I'll be adding in TV, flat screen TV boards, what else are in there? A few RAM sticks, trimmings from RAM sticks, Nintendo game machines have nice gold flashing on them. So stuff like that. So anyhow, enough chat from me. Let's go into the video and see the results at the end. Again, thanks for watching. As always, at the end of the video, if you don't mind, if you could hit the thumbs up, I would appreciate it. And if you're not already subscribing, maybe subscribe and you'll see how you can get some gold for e-waste. So, thanks guys. Enjoy. Well, it's great to have you back at another Scrapping Irish video. And on this gold recovery video, we're going to be looking at lithium ion batteries, or batteries for mobile phones essentially. Some of them will be lithium ion, some of them won't, and what can we get off them for gold recovery. So first off, disclaimer and safety notice and all that. Lithium ion batteries are highly dangerous, shouldn't be messed with by anyone, this video is just for demonstration purpose only. So please remember that, and you don't need to do exactly what I do, and it's just what I'm doing. So on most of these batteries to come out of your mobile phones, on the older ones you'd have a battery like that. A lot of the newer mobile phones, the batteries aren't removable. This is the older ones. So you can see here we've got gold flashed pins on them. So I remove them gold flash pins, and then we're left with our contacts that are here. So we want to make sure after we take off our gold boards and stuff like that, that we're not leaving anything that can short out. So let me just take this off here so you can see underneath it. So when we take it off, you can see where there's one connection over here and there'll be another connection here. We don't want them two sides touching. So when I take this off, I'll tape up and I'll keep both of them away from each other so that we're not ending up with it shorting out over here. So just remember that, tape it off and put it somewhere safe and to be stored away. Don't store them in where they can set fire to something. Store them in a steel container so that if there was ever a fire on them, they're not going to burn your house down. Stuff like that. And then bring them to your nearest battery recycling place. So anyhow, once I have taken them off, they always have a little bit of gold on them. So again, even this little bit I took off here, I'll show you now. I just want to take some tape off it, because there's always a little bit of tape on them, protecting the joints and protecting where stuff had hit off them. So even this little bit here I took off, you can see there a little dot of gold, very tiny bit of gold on this one. There'll be another little bit of gold underneath on this side, but some of them will have more gold on them. So for instance, these are all ones I've taken off already. So you can see here the gold flashing on the board. So again, you want to remove any of that plastic that's over them, because you want to expose the board to all the acid. So any of them ones that have plastic on them, I'll pull them aside and I'll break them down further. But the ones that have no plastic on them and are ready to go into the acid will go in. Now if you notice, on a lot of the boards there will be little components still stuck to the boards. So I don't want to put this straight into copper chloride. I want to get rid of all them little components. Some of them will have gold bearing material in them and some won't. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give these all a soak in dilute hydrochloric acid. So that should take all the little bits off, and then we should be able to get it straight into copper chloride. So again, anything that has, just put that into that bigger jar, that's where they're going to go, and I'm going to fill that up with some hydrochloric acid, and we're going to let it work away on them to loosen up any of the little bits. And then once they're all loosened, I can take out drain it off, filter it off, and get the boards and get them into copper chloride. So we're going to, first things first, we're going to get all these into that jar, and we're going to start filling that jar up with cheap hydrochloric acid. So I'm going to be using something that's only probably 10% hydrochloric acid. So it doesn't need to be awful strong for this. I just needed to loosen up the components so they fall off the boards, and we can get these into the copper chloride in. So let's go outside and let's add the hydrochloric acid, and I'll show you the brand I'm using as well. Okay, so we are outside. It's just about to start to rain, but it doesn't really matter because we'll be finished in a couple of minutes. So this is just a mortar stain remover that I bought in a hardware store. Contains 10% hydrochloric acid, and that's all I'm going to be using on this is 10% hydrochloric acid. I don't need to use anything stronger. I have my 32% one as well, which I have here, but no need to use anything stronger than 10% really, just to do what I'm going to do here. All we wanted to do is cover the metals, let the hydrochloric acid start to work on the tin, the solder, all them little legs that are holding on them little bits, and then they'll fall off, and we'll be just left with the boards, which we can put into our copper chloride solution, which I'll be using the 32% hydrochloric acid in. Now you can do the copper chloride in the 10% as well. I have done it. So that's it. I'll just close that up, let that work away, and for probably over a week, and it'll loosen up all the little bits and get them off the board. And now some people won't bother doing this stage. Some people go straight to copper chloride, and again, that's their choice, but I prefer to try and make the boards as clean as possible, so that when we get to the gold thing, when we're putting the gold into Acarija, we're not making sure that all the tin, solder, all that sort of stuff is gone. And I don't want to waste my copper chloride eating up and filtering out all them little bits out of the copper chloride. So I want to get rid of them first. So when I'm filtering out the gold flakes, and then the boards that'll be left will be just put in for recycling. So come back in a week's time or so, and we should see what has happened. Right guys, so these battery terminals, I've taken them out of the acid, washed them off, and we're ready to get into copper chloride with them. So you can see the gold there. It has like a little black coating on some of them, but I'm not too worried about that. Usually when it goes into the copper chloride, that's ate away anyhow. Now, I'm also going to be throwing in other bits and pieces, so stuff like these mobile phone boards will be thrown in with the stuff. And let me see what else we have here. So like these trimmed fingers from TVs as well. Any of that sort of stuff, they'll all be put in with the terminal. So if you do see other stuff in there, don't be panicking. I've already said what I'm going to do. So like all these any of these gold flash connectors, they'll all go in there. Anything that has gold. So I'm just trying to clear out a lot of gold bearing material that I have at the moment. So that, and I have a lot of phones like this that need to be cleaned up, so I'll probably clean them up off screen and put them in the acid as well at some stage, so you might see them in there floating around. This sort of stuff I'll also check underneath here in case there's any more gold hidden under the boards. Sometimes there can be, so I'll also check them. So we're going to get this, I'm just doing a scratch test to double check this one. So this one's just copper. So I'll also be just throwing it straight into copper chloride. So I'm not going to show you me throwing it into the copper chloride and the usual setting up the copper chloride and all that, because we've done that loads of times. And if you want to see about copper chloride, I'll put a link at the end of the video, how copper chloride works and what it's used for in gold recovery. So go check that out at the end of the video. So watch the video through, and then at the end we'll have a link there for that copper chloride. So I'm going to set up the copper chloride, go drop these in. I'll let it run for a few days, and we'll come back in a few days and see what it's like in the copper chloride. So let's see how it turned out so far. Right guys, I said I wasn't going to show you the copper chloride bit, but I decided to, because there might be some people who haven't watched my videos before and are wondering what I'm doing. So I've thrown some of the stuff already through there. I've left it work away. You probably can see some gold still on stuff, and then there's gold gone off. So like we'd say, that board for instance, that was all gold here, but that's all gone. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add more boards and stuff to the solution. So I'm going to add anything that's gold plated, goes in here. So all these like mobile phone boards are all going in, so they all have gold plating on them. Again, some more of these which are from the Nintendo Wii's. So you can probably see some gold floating around up there at the top. There'll be a lot more at the bottom. So we're just throwing all this stuff in. It'll get saturated pretty quick, and then what we'll have to do is filter it out, and any that have the gold hasn't come off, we'll just have to rerun them again. But for the moment it's working away. These are just, as I said, this is a mixture of everything. There's mobile phone boards, there's some RAM sticks gone in there, there's some so again, some of the boards already have a little bit of gold on them, and some of them will have a lot more gold on them. So but they'll all be treated the same way. Some of them aren't as clean looking, but the acid should still work on them. That was a bit of a reaction, whatever dirt was on that, it reacted with the acid. So that's it, all nearly in. So these are all the boards, and then some more bits and pieces, small little offcuts with little bits of gold on them. And that is it. We let that work away. I'll keep adding more to it as we're going on. So if I check to see that these are all gone, dissolved the gold off them, we'll add more to them, because again, I have still, and if anyone's wondering why there's air bubbles, a bubbler will help the process to go quicker. So that's oxidization, so that will help it to work quicker. So that's all I'm doing in there is that. Say you probably can, I don't know, can you see any of the gold flakes floating around? But I can. I'll just try and shake some of them up and see, can we get some gold floating up to the top? So I can see the gold here, some gold over here, some over here floating. So it's floating around in there. All I'll do is cover that and leave it sitting for whatever length of time it takes to dissolve all that. So when you come back, we'll be filtering and we'll be seeing how much gold we have so far. Right guys, about to filter, but I know I said I'd come back once the filtering was done, but I was about to filter, so I just wanted to show you guys that some of the stuff has not dissolved completely, or the gold has not completely been in. So that means the acid is essentially saturated, so it means I have to freshen up that stuff that's there. So as you can see, I'm just going to, you can see there's some gold in here floating around, but there's also some gold still on the boards. So that makes it a bit longer process, but it won't make any difference to you guys, because You'll be coming back once I have a filter. So this means I can start my filtering and refresh the acid and let it run a bit longer to get the rest of the gold off. So and I just want to pick out those little SIM cards that were in there. They've got a little bit of gold still left on them, but not much. And again, just take out this one so that it doesn't block the acid from going down. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that before we move on to the filter, to show you what was in the filter once we're finished. So let's see what we ended up with when I finally get all of those boards cleaned off fully. So you can still see there's still, it's fairly loose, might come off with a spray, so it mightn't be as bad as I think. So I have filtered out the material and we're left with these filters. Well, the material is all dry, so you can see the gold in there, and this one is a bit dirtier gold, but it's still all gold. So once it's dry, it's just a matter of brushing it in, making sure any of it can come out without it all I do, just brush it out as best I can, and any that won't brush out, we can just rip the filter and it can go straight into the acid as is, but most of it will come off the filters. So you can see it there, the gold, and then do the same with this one. Just turn it upside down first and see what falls out. So you can see the flakes. And again, then we just brush out the stuff that doesn't come out. So again, this video was all about showing that what boards can be put straight into copper chloride for releasing the thing. Because I get asked a lot of questions. How do I take the gold plated off the gold flashing from the boards, from mobile phone boards, from anywhere essentially on a circuit board that you see that gold flashing? So whether it's RAM sticks, whether it's on there we go. So that's it, completely brushed out nearly. So any old flakes is left there, they can go into the acid directly. I usually do all the filters together, but that's up to you what way you want to do it. So that's what we ended up with from them mobile phone boards, from them bits of RAM, there was bits of from the batteries, the connectors on the batteries. Again, as I said already, don't go mess with the batteries. This is for educational purposes only, that I show what I do. I don't say that everyone else has to do it. So what did we end up with from that? Wasn't a huge amount of boards. So we'll zero it. I'm not expecting an awful lot in here. There we go, 1.96 grams of gold bearing material. So that can just go into the other stuff I've been collecting up. So again, I just keep collecting it up, and at some stage we'll process all that gold bearing material. This is all from different types of circuit boards and stuff like that. So I know the container is going to weigh a bit, so it's 19 grams it's in there, but the container weighs a certain amount on it. So as I was saying, that's just from let me see, what are we there? We had TV boards, we had some TV boards, we had some mobile phone boards, the terminals from batteries, some bits of RAM, there was some bits from Nintendo Wii's and stuff like that. So copper chloride will work on any of that material, guys. So again, as I said earlier on, if you don't know how to make the copper chloride, I'll link the video at the end and I'll show you that copper chloride. I find that's the easiest one to work with. So I do this because when you're with the peroxide, as I said, the downside of the peroxide is if you don't get the mixture right, peroxide and hydrochloric acid can dissolve your gold. Copper chloride won't dissolve the gold, so you're safe using it that way. So that's it for this video, guys. So go check out the video at the end if you want to know how to make the copper chloride, and till the next video, which I think will be a video for people who want to know what acids I use, because I've been asked a lot, what acids do I use and stuff like that. So I might redo a video that I've done a long time ago on the acids that I use and stuff like that, and then I'll link videos to it for people as well. So that probably be the next video I do, and at some stage we'll do another video of using this material in Acarija and melting it down, maybe see what, or not melting down, but getting to see what we get out of it gold wise. I still am working on pins that I'm working on at the moment, so I have different quality pins there that I'm working on at the moment. I have a lot of chips that I'm incinerating at the moment, stuff like that. So there should be some videos coming soon on a lot of gold recovery stuff. Once the weather has improved a bit, we'll be doing a lot more gold recovery videos. And as you've seen in a previous video, I have melted some gold, and again, if you haven't seen that, go check it out. So I used so that's some 24 karat gold tested, and I ended up with over an ounce of gold in total. So if you want to go and check that video out, I'll probably link that at the end as well, or if not, it's probably linked up here now somewhere. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. So thanks as always for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.